So last semester, sorry, I ran on the integrity line and against 12 kids. They all worked together, and I ended up beating all of them. And I think that shows that the school apparently did not want that and wanted something else. And so here I am again running for president. And it seems like everybody's running on change or in whatever. But I'm already working to bring this change. I've already got this track record of change, of trying to come into the Senate and work on things, and maybe that's not working out super well. I'm the only guy on my side of the table. But it's not working out terribly either, and I'm learning a lot of things from it. Now, one of the three things I think that'll make an effective leader are integrity, but also commitment and tenacity. And I think I bring this commitment and tenacity in a couple different ways. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is debate club. Debate club, I started off out of a class that me and a couple other kids TA'd, Eco 212, it's a debate class, and you guys have taken it, it's a lot of fun. However, a little rushed, but so we started this debate club, and our first meeting we had 2 members. We were a little crushed by that, but we built up our club, and now we've got about 25 members. And it takes a lot of commitment to go forward and establish this membership. And I think between me and the rest of the e-boards that have come over this time, I think I'm the only one that's actually stayed on e-board for 2 years. Everybody else either graduated or just went to Michigan. But yeah, commitment. I've built up a club, and I've seen that club go from 2 members to 25 members in what I like to think is one of the better clubs on campus. As for tenacity, I'm also a part of the Model European Union here. Our first semester at Model European Union, we fundraised $1,000. That $1,000 we tried to fundraise through Model UN, I believe it was. Not sure which year we did what, but first year we tried to fundraise it through Model UN. Model UN didn't get rollover. We lost our $1,000. Second year, we fundraised another $1,000, tried to become a club. We could not become a club because we only had 3 members, and it's expensive to go places, so we couldn't get more people to join. Third year, this year. This year, I've got Model European Union to merge into Debate Club, and this year we fundraised another $1,000. And I'm very happy to say that there's going to be one person who, not myself, of course, but there is one girl on Model European Union who's going to go entirely for free. And I think that's great because my first semester, we wanted to go for free. We wanted to say, oh yeah, we can fundraise all this and we're going to be able to spend that money and not out of our own pockets, but we just didn't. As for a platform, I guess, there's a couple different things. The president of the Student Association appoints the directors of a couple different student departments. For example, student affairs, environmental affairs, and I think it's, I can't remember exactly what it's called, it's either faculty or staff, but the faculty senate. We sent an advisor. So for the student affairs, I would like to get this department to look into the meal swipes that the assembly is already focusing on. I think if I can put more resources into that, that's something we can further eliminate. I think the meal plan, especially from when I lived on campus, the meal plan is just, you spend $10 for $9. And then you can't even use your whole $9 whenever you want. And even if you try to use it in the morning for breakfast, it's $5 off. And it's a real tragedy, and I just don't think it's right. So I'm going to appoint someone to focus on that and try to pursue all those things. As for the Department of Environmental Advocacy, whatever it is, Environmental Affairs, I would like to focus on cigarette butts on campus. Now, the campus is smoke-free, so we can't really put cigarette butt receptacles out, like, just in general, but what we can do is we can probably put some buckets out with some sand, and for whatever reason people can just guess what they're for. But I think that'll help to reduce the amount of cigarette butts. I had talked to a couple of the different faculty members, not like professors or stuff, but just like the workers that work around here. I talked to a couple different one of those, and they said they were picking about 300 to 400 cigarette butts a day outside of Capon, and another 300 to 400 outside of Lockwood. So I mean, 600 to 800 cigarette butts a day. I think we can clean up at least all of them, maybe not all of them, but 90%. Lastly, parking is a major issue. I'm affected by this all the time. So what I'm going to do to encourage that the administration really focus on parking, the Student Association Executive Board gets free parking spaces. If anybody didn't know that, I'm pretty sure at least they did. Somebody told me they did. I didn't actually get to check. So what I'll do is I'll eliminate those parking spaces so that the e-board isn't benefited over the average student. And then we also have a $6,000 commuter project line. So with that money, I'm going to go to the other 6 student governments and see if they can also put up some money. I'd like to go to SBI and see what they can do, as well as the administration and again the faculty senate. I would like to see what they can do, and then once we get what everybody can do, because this isn't just an undergraduate problem, this is a problem the professors have, this is a problem the graduate students have. We should be looking to have, wholesome cooperative deals cut here between not just the students, but the students, the faculty, and the administration. Is there any questions?
Yeah. I know you mentioned the meal swipes and the different prices differing at different times. What about the gaps between?
So from what I've heard, I talked with Mike Brown, the Speaker of the Assembly. He said the Assembly is working with CDS to eliminate the gaps. However, he still had to have another meeting with CDS, but I think as with the office, I would be able to go in and get an appointment with CDS and kind of get them to do things a little faster and a little more at my pace than maybe Speaker of the Assembly would. Tori?
So you call yourself someone who sits on, you sit alone on your side of the table, and that you've been fighting, and that
there are definitely a number of other senators that I like to work with that I think have great ideas. There are a number of senators that I think probably just despise me for whatever reason. But it's definitely, when I say that I sit on my own side of the table, I just mean that, I never know if someone's going to vote with me or against me, but sometimes I feel like the other guys kind of already have the shots called. Not when it comes to clubs. I don't think that happens with club grants, but I think it might happen with some other things where they already have the idea that, that, I mean, they won this race. I mean, they're going to promote their agenda. Sometimes I just don't think their agenda is the right agenda for the city.
Sure, but the question that I was going to ask you is that how you feel, it's like you just said, you have people that you work with, but how do you feel that that's going, 'cause as the president you work with so many different people, so how do you plan to kind of increase that, ability to communicate with people, because you have to work with so many different sorts?
Everybody's going to say this, but I'm going to leave my office door open and whatnot. I'd like to increase publicity about SA and what SA is doing. We have a rather large budget that I don't think all got spent. So I think we should be able to get more kids aware of actually what's going on with SA. Does that answer your question, I hope?
Mostly.
Okay. Anybody else? In the back.
How do you think you can get commuter off-campus students more involved with campus life?
Well, I'm a commuter student, so I think a lot of the time it's hard. So I actually lived on campus, and I think that's one of the reasons I'm more involved. But as a commuter student, I think that, and with a lot of friends that are commuters, I think a lot of commuters just want to come to campus, they want to get their classes done, they want to go home. I think the way we could best facilitate, improving the commuter experience is through improving parking. One of the things I've done with parking, just personally, not on like a policy level, but I've just started using the Park and Go. You park in the center for a new tomorrow, I come here at 8 in the morning, but I park over there, I take the Park and Go in. It's not that bad. It takes 10 minutes to get to campus. So I think maybe if we could do something more with that, that might help the commuter experience. But to get them more involved, I think, like I said, they're going to choose whether they want to be involved or not. A lot of kids who do get here at 8 a.m. who are commuters don't want to stay around till 8 p.m. They're not that's 12 hours, you know, they're like, I have other things to do, I want to go home, I want to take a nap. When you live on campus, it's a lot easier because you have your dorm right there, you can go home, you take a nap for 2 hours, and then it's a 5-minute walk right back to do your activities. But, I mean, I live in Lockport, and it's a 30-minute commute, so I'm commuting sometimes twice a day back out here to do my extracurriculars. So I think it's really just going to come down to if the commuter student wants to do it or not.
I think like part of the problem is that there really isn't like anything, like you said yourself, that like living on campus helps you get involved. So what other ways can you help get commuter students involved? Because there clearly aren't only commuter students who don't want to be involved
Right.
in student life.
So how else we can get students involved in commuting, or sorry, commuter students involved in essay? Like I said, I mean, we could increase advertising and publicity. We could let more we could find a way to let the commuter students know more about essay. But like I said, it's going to come down to the individual commuter who's going to have to make the decision: do I want to go home, or do I want to stay around, wait after my classes 3-4 hours, and then go to my extracurricular for an hour or two, and then go home?
Right, student life would be different than essay though. I mean,
Right.
just like being
Oh, no,
involved in like the camp, being on campus.
Like in student
Yeah.
government, like in the office? Or like, how do you mean?
I think she's just saying like to keep them on
Feel
campus,
like
like
they're part of the
to feel like they
community.
can be on campus for like that 3-4 hours maybe.
I think then if you wanted to keep kids on campus, you would try to improve the commuter, I don't know, the commuter lounge up there. It's nice, but I mean, I feel like maybe there could be better things to do. I don't really have anything. Maybe put out some free fruit on like Thursdays too. That'd be cool. But yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm a commuter. I have a lot of commuter friends, and it's hard to, you have to have a reason that you're going to stay 4 hours extra. You have to say, like, the only reason I stay is because I have a debate club. That's my club. I built that club. Now I do other things from that club and for the student government. And so that's why I stay, because I get enjoyment out of it more so than the time I'm waiting. And even then, sometimes I do go home and just run back. I mean, like, it's hard when you're on campus and you want to stay here for 12 hours, especially for me, just because it's, you know, I need my personal alone time, I guess. I don't want to just be around other people all the time. Sometimes I'd like to take a nap, you know.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Angie Quilla. I am a junior majoring in GIS and Geography, and I am currently running for the essay vice president position on the Integrity Party. So before I get started, I want to talk a bit about myself and my qualifications for this position. I am the treasurer of the UB Debate Society. And once we first started in UB Debate, we only had around 6 members. And, you know, getting a temporary club to become a permanent club takes a lot of time, a lot of effort, and it takes an e-board who's truly passionate and willing to, you know, work with his club and make it into a real, you know, vision of what they have. So now the UB Debate Society has around 40 active members, and we have bi-weekly debates that attract law students and even people just in the UB community. We also worked with Mall European Union, which is a sub-club in our club. So I worked with getting $1,500 for them from Senate with grants and just doing paperwork. And we were able to fundraise $1,500 to send the 10 students from Mall European Union to New York City to participate in the International Policy Tournament. That's a huge accomplishment for our club. We're very proud that we got that going and that it's a thing. I'm also a student of the Educational Opportunity Program. So I was a residential counselor for them in the summer, and I'm currently last semester I was an academic coach and a peer mentor for them. So what this job entailed was me organizing events for them. We had around 200 students, and I would organize academic and social events. I would invite UB organizations like KERCA, LSTAMP, CSTEP to come and present to my students, and I would also have essay clubs come and present for them too. So that's similar to what club coordinators do with their clubs. So getting into policies and what I plan on doing, I plan on working with policy reformation and with student advocacy. So two things I plan on doing with policy is including budget brackets. So a lot of clubs struggle. A lot of clubs that have large brackets struggle with fundraising 50% of their budget, and they end up not receiving the rollover for the next semester, for the next year. And clubs deserve to keep the money that they fundraise, even though they can't reach that 50% that they need to be reaching with their fundraisers and stuff like that. So I'll be making brackets that will help clubs who have large budgets receive their rollovers and not have to reach that 50% of fundraising that they need to do. I also plan on changing the SA student club handbook. There's certain information on there. Well, all the information on there is important, but half of the information in the beginning is really important, and the other half on the second half isn't that important, and we don't really have to have it there. The current SAE board promised that we'd have videos on the SA website. We don't have videos on the SA website. So these videos would be tutorials for students on how to make track sheets, on how to be a treasurer, on how to set up food sales, and how to fill out POs and all that stuff that clubs need to know. Clubs really don't have a solid manual that tells them all the stuff that they can do as a club. They don't have, this should easily be all online for them. I also want to do 4 to 6 community service events that will be hosted by SA. So this would make it easier for the clubs who can't find community services to just do the SA community services. So this would be a weight also off the club coordinator's shoulders, because their job is to coordinate community service and all that stuff. And for student advocacy, what I plan on doing is I want to get tampons and pads into every female bathroom at UB, both on South Campus and on North Campus. I am a member of SOFEM, and I've talked to many female students at UB, and everyone wants, that tampons and pads in the bathrooms. A lot of universities are doing already. I think it's time for UB to step up, and I know SA could provide that. And finally, vote integrity.